The gang stalking which is going on in America isn't just happening from the COPS program, which is a component of Department of Justice. And the FBI is a component of Department of Justice. Now, Department of Justice has what's called Exemption 7. So there is a lot of information they don't have to share with the public because it can be damaging, like this gang stalking which is going on. Now, there's this guy here, he's a very well-known attorney. Let me see, his name is Raul Manchetta. And he has an article here on veteransnewsnow.com. Hopefully you can, let me plug my computer so that way you can maybe get the URL or do a search on this article that he wrote. He is one of America's top immigration lawyers, and he is a professor. And he talks about this program, which is unconstitutional. Now, most cops know what constitutional policing is, but we also have what's called community-oriented policing. Community-oriented policing is based on the CERT model, which uses a systematic approach to community policing. This is being done through Department of Homeland Security. You may have FBI agents that are getting involved in this. InfraGard. You look at a lot of Fortune 500 companies, they have a community engagement director. So there are many loopholes for this unconstitutional policing to occur in cities all across America. This could be used by maybe the ADL or a feminist group, an LGBT community group. So if you speak out against certain agendas, you could be attacked by these groups. Your city and state and federal government agencies know about these programs, especially ones that are involved in the Department of Homeland Security. While seeking to share what I was going through concerning the gang stalking to the city board, anyways, while I was there, I was in front of this camera talking to it was like the whole entire board via webcam. I was at one of these representatives building, so I had to go there to do this. And they were the staff was in there like, wow, these people must know you. And I actually recorded everything and how these people were saying, look, there he is, you know. So you could actually hear what they were saying, and they actually knew me. But how can they know me when I just moved into this town? So I found it very, very odd. So I started complaining about this harassment through the neighborhood watch groups after having one neighbor here, there, over there, telling me, look, I don't like how you're being treated, I know what's going on, this is being done by your local police. And I started doing research, and I started to see that our police network with neighborhood watch groups, block watch captains, and if you do research on in your own city, you will find that these neighborhood watch groups are connected to local police, a lot of times fusion centers, and what they do is the police establish partnerships with these people. Most of the time they're homeowners. Most of the people that have stalked and harassed me are homeowners, a part of secret societies. Some actually have racist views and are part of racist groups. I've actually seen this. And what they do is these people will follow you into stores, see what you buy, and they want to push buttons. It's like non-stop. So you can drive out of your house and want to go shopping. And then once you drive out of your apartment area, you have someone waving at you doing this, wearing white earphones, black and white clothing, and they're doing this. You go out shopping, they're doing that again. You get out of a supermarket, you have 5 white cars, 5 red cars, and you'll notice the same type of sensitization tactics being used repeatedly. Where I've gone to apartments all across this county and I haven't seen anything like that except where I live, where you see a lot of color sensitization tactics being used. These tactics can be dangerous, especially for kids, because what happens is that these people are threatening them, following them numerous times a day. In a large city especially, it can be proven through mathematics that it's not a coincidence. The probability of an event makes it beyond possible for you to have an encounter in a city with over 1 million people. Like, you're going shopping, the same person. You go get a haircut, the same person's there. You go to the bathroom, they're there. So it's done to engineer mass shootings. It's done to cause problems in our communities. So this guy, he has no reason to lie. He's a professor. He's a Republican, and he's one of the most respected immigration attorneys in America. So he's putting his whole entire career on the line. As a matter of fact, this article is over a year old. He could be sued for slander, imprisoned. Now, why would he accuse a component of Department of Justice of doing such a thing? Well, Department of Justice supposedly is against stalking. They have lots of websites. It's like one of the main things. We're against stalking. But they fund all these community-oriented policing groups, which are based on the CERT model. The CERT model believes in a proactive approach to community policing. They believe in a systematic manner. The CERT model is based on a systematic approach to community policing. Systematic means non-stop. So when you hear about these people that are insiders exposing this, what they're telling these people, like telling people, hey, this activity is 24/7. You have to look at groups that are using the CERT model, that base their movement on a systematic approach to community policing, making sure you're being harassed in schools, making sure you're being harassed in every city you go to. So that's why you're hearing about people, they move to another city or state, they're being harassed. So you have these fusion centers, the FBI, Department of Homeland Security, networking with these groups. And see, government, they're supposed to monitor, no one's supposed to like take care of like threats to the community, or to like, you know, serious like terrorists. People from different countries coming over here, fighting in wars, but not doing police work. So what's going on is that we have people that are trained in psychological warfare, have access to military-grade weapons. A lot of this stuff is possibly being put out here on the streets by being shared with police through things called the 1033 program, something like that, where Department of Justice or Department of Defense can share military-grade weapons and technology with police. So a lot of this equipment is coming out. All these different weapons, like mind weapons, weapons that can make people sick and nauseated from a long distance, are coming, I believe, through our own system. And it's supposed to be able to stop, supposed to be used to stop riots, but it's being used on people, unfortunately. And there's even government contractors that are getting involved in this gang stalking. So gang stalking is done to make a person sick, to make them delusional, make them lash out. It's done systematically. It's done non-stop. So you can live on a second floor of an apartment building, and you may notice that every time you go outside, you have the same people going outside. Now, you can't jump down there and harm no one. You don't own a weapon. You don't have no sex, drug, or violence charges. What's the deal? So these people do not like being confronted. They take it as, hey, you're challenging them. And your police, guess what? If you go to your police station, a lot of times they'll say, we don't want to help you, we already know what's going on. Now, you need to record this stuff. Have stuff like this in your pocket, pull it out when you're not looking, so that way you get a glimpse or picture of them. Because let's say you're a disabled person, you're elderly, and they don't help you. You can actually sue them. It's serious business. It's called, there's this law, I think it's called, duty to protect. You know, it's a crime. So when you look under the COPS program website, you will see resources, FBI, information sharing, Department of Homeland Security. Let me see here. Let me keep going on down here, though. Got some other articles here I want to share. Let me see if I can find it. Just bear with me one moment. Okay, also we have to look at these other groups, like the National Sheriff's Association. A lot of these groups are receiving funds from who? Department of Justice. So all these neighborhood watch groups, you see them, they're wearing black shirts. When you look in their handbooks, they're told to wear black clothing, dark clothing. That's so that that way they can be identified. Now, Myron May clearly stated that these people want to make their presence known. Well, if you're involved in community-oriented policing and you're trying to prevent crime, well, how can you prevent crime unless you're making your presence known? And how are you helping someone if every time they're going out to eat with relatives or a friend or a church member, they're coming in groups to harass the person? That's not community-oriented policing. People have no idea if the person has an RFID device, is extracting the information, has a private investigator. So this is being coordinated through your local police, different government agencies, businesses, radical feminist groups. There's so many different people with so many different agendas. Community-led policing groups, neighborhood watch groups, and a lot of times these people have in their minds you're a bad person, you're a criminal, when you made a mistake a long time ago, and you're trying to get therapy to overcome the gang stalking, and then when you finish, you're being harassed. They're waiting for you outside. They're harassing you at home. So what I did was I made a plan to be able to discover who was behind my harassment. So I started noticing the same activity at a building where Department of Homeland Security, Department of Safety, all these agencies are all there. I experienced the harassment there, and I experienced it in the Department of Justice office. Experienced it nearby a COPS office. I've experienced it mostly in government offices. So this is a government program. You have to understand this, people. This is not being done by terrorists overseas. This movement is being done by fellow Americans. People that live in your country. People that serve, that are here to protect us. So you have to do your homework. And you have to realize that you're paying for this program. Taxpayers, we're paying for this. So when you look at different publications from like other international organizations involved in community-oriented policing, you will see that they actually talk about trying to dress like the person that they're targeting, mimicking them, befriending them. So this is all done to cause isolation. It's done to make you feel like the world is against you. So if you're in a situation where you're downtrodden and you're targeted, think about when you had money. Didn't you have lots of friends? Didn't you have a bright life, a happy life? So you have to think about all that. So you also have to think about your skills. Or can you go to another country to make it? Or can you share your information with another government and say, look, I'm being persecuted here by Department of Justice and its components. Can you help me so I don't have to come back to this country? So I want people to avoid that if possible. You don't want to go to a third world country unless it gets that bad. But at one time it was that bad, where every single day I went to the gas station, I went shopping, I had a bunch of people that looked Jewish. I had a bunch of people that were riding white cars, some with unmarked tags that matched vehicles from an office in New Mexico, which I was having problems with. Now, Department of Justice has no idea. This lady had repeatedly followed me, and I saved that information on a card. So the lady followed me in a very harassing manner. I've experienced harassment in another building. The FBI, I called them 3 times, they hung up. Not only is there proof, I have the times and the recordings. Well, and I have the actual phone which was used that shows the times that you can actually hear the phone being slammed. Now I've called Department of Justice. They have the COPS. They have COPS program has a hotline for citizens that want information and that can ask questions about the program. Try to call them, and guess what? They will forward you to a voicemail box. They won't give you any information. There's no transparency. So, let me make sure it's running still. There's no transparency. they don't communicate, they don't respond back. So we have constitutional policing and community-oriented policing. Well, if community-oriented policing is constitutional, why is it held as a separate doctrine in law enforcement? Why is it that when I look at these books that the Department of Justice was supposed to get rid of, which are some of them have accidentally been leaked online and they're being removed from the internet little by little, why is it that they have a history of stalking and harassing people, but they say they are against it? They have their websites in all cities clearly state that they are against stalking. It's like one of their #1 things. But they promote it. You cannot say you're against stalking, but promote it through community-oriented policing. And they're using regular citizens to hide behind the government. See, the police know that this is one of the most abused programs in America. These statements come from sheriffs and police. I looked on many websites, on police websites, and they're stating that this is one of the most abused programs in America. And this is the reason why. Is because any time you get a bunch of white people that start targeting minorities, you're going to have people that are racist and have their own agendas. And they're looking to harm someone at times. I've had it where I've gone to the mail where I've had people that wanted to fight me, and I just moved here. I don't know anyone, you know? I've never started a fight in my whole entire life. But I have people wanting to fight me. They're, by my place, saying I can't take it no more. And then when I drive by Citizens Corps, I can't screaming their heads off, I can't take it no more. So Citizens Corps is another agency that we have to watch out. I truly believe they are the second greatest threat in our country besides these gangs like COPS, DHS, and FBI. Citizens Corps, what they do is they'll go into stores. They'll have people that network with people in the stores, even hospitals. They're tied to community solutions. A lot of people that are low income may use what's called Cigna, the company Cigna, and they may be able to get hold of your medical information, and it can be shared with these agencies like Department of Health, Department of Safety. So all this stuff causes people to become targeted even more. So what happens is that once you go to the doctor and you complain about it, they say you're crazy. Now you can actually have your records amended by showing proof. Like you're being harassed and by going to another doctor, and you can tell Department of Health and Human Services that I want my record amended because I'm experiencing harassment by an agency and I've been falsely diagnosed. I'm not schizophrenic, and here's the video proof, massive hard drives, police statements, polygraph reports, video proof from people in these programs feeling bad about what they're doing and confessing to it. So these programs are real. They are based on domestic terrorism, because if you are targeting people, especially marginalized communities of people, then what you are doing is engineering mass shootings in our country. You cannot call yourself fellow Americans and go out and harm and harass people and walk around with a little gun and a little badge and call yourself an American and you're protecting the public. I'm not trying to be rude. I respect police. We need the police. But there is a small population of them, like rotten apples, which are abusing these programs. And they are unconstitutional. After a while, it has to come to a point where it's like, hey, we can only harass someone so much. If you're using neighbors to follow me while I'm shopping, while I'm going to the bathroom, then what you're doing is you're trying to live my life and trying to prevent me from living my own life. If you're entering in and rolling in U.S. schools, which one person already told me, he says, look, watch this person, they have to be connected to the police or a government agency. They're asking too many questions about you, and we've noticed them harassing you, coming in with weapons that are legal. So what is going on here? If I own no weapons, I'm not a Muslim, I'm not a part of no groups, I don't own any oil fields, so I'm not no threat to them. I don't have anything, so if I don't have anything, why is it that every time I go to the airplane, I'm being harassed by people? The people in the airplanes are taking notice to it. When I go to school, I'm being harassed by people. Sometimes driving unmarked cars, coming in and telling me to drop out of school. Being harassed when I go to work. Being harassed at home. 38 computers lost in 3 years. I mean, the list goes on. damage to my property. So what these people do is they want people to snap. They do everything in their power to degrade, to deny, to destroy, disrupt. And this is also happening through other government agencies and other departments within our system. When you look at Department of Justice, black and white colors. When you look at different agencies within our government, FBI and so on, you'll see the colors black and white on the top of their webpage. So if you're being followed by people wearing black and white, know that it's most likely someone tied to one of these agencies that I've mentioned. And when you look on YouTube and you see the police working with their informants, neighborhood watch groups, what are they wearing? Black and white. Now, your town manager, city mayor, they're good people. A lot of times they don't know about what's going on. They know that you're being watched, but they don't know you're being harassed. Communicate with these people because they are stakeholders in every city citizens corps. Also communicate with your governor and lieutenant governor. They are the ones that manage the fusion centers. A lot of times they have no idea what's going on. So contact them and tell them, look, I'm being harassed by a component of DHS. I'm being harassed by people and their LinkedIn profiles and background checks are coming up, Department of Homeland Security, one after another. And here's a long list to back it up, you know. So you want to have proof like that. If you have an agency phone, you got a bunch of black SUVs, and you got this crazy star sticker, whatever, take pictures of it. You got a secret society harassing you and threatening your life to join, take a picture of their rings, their stickers on their cars, their VIN numbers, and do it repeatedly so that way you can show a repeated pattern of harassment. And I want to encourage people to be nonviolent, not to own any guns. This movement is very real, and it has the potential to cause a serious national embarrassment if the people that work in these agencies decide to say enough of the domestic terrorism, we're going to take a stand and we're going to expose it. Hopefully the Department of State will do more to protect us from terrorists, both foreign and domestic. And realize that you have the right under the necessity defense. If you're cornered by someone with a weapon, first thing you should do is pull out your camera, contact the police. There's apps where police can watch what's going on. Realize that you have the right to protect your life under the necessity defense. Try to flee the situation. If you can't, you're cornered, use that. You may want to look at trying to get like a battered person syndrome. You want to have as much things on your side as possible to protect you in a court of law. So if you sue, you can show that you've experienced psychological harm. Especially, let me give you an example. Let's say you're a woman that has kids, you're disenfranchised, or mentally ill. It's very typical for poor people. And you're most women are in this program. Most people in this program are women that are targeted. And the police deny you help, and you record it. You record it, and the person following you every single block for 18 miles is outside. The police deny you help, and you are classified as a disabled person or mentally ill. That is a lawsuit. The duty to protect statutes make it clear that it's illegal and it's wrong. Department of Justice couldn't do anything. You would have a lawsuit. So you know, I could play these games with these people for years. I can look at their LinkedIn profiles. I know who some of these people are. I even know where they live at. I've known them for over a year now. I'm not looking to find them. I'm not looking to bother them, but I want to know where my enemies are at and where they live, who they are, and I don't bother them. They have followed me to dentist appointments. I had this one lady, she passed by in a black car. I was talking to this one guy. Found her. There was not one car there except my dentist, and she was out there waiting for me. So these people involved in this gang stalking, it's real. Their intent is to cause psychological harm as much as possible so that way you lose it. And in my opinion, this is my personal opinion, that these programs are actually being done to link our own system to this. That's what I believe. It may sound sick, it may sound stupid, and perhaps it's my opinion because of the investigative work that I've had done by hiring private investigators, been linking them to, we had a chart, and it's almost like an all-seeing eye. It's like, not all-seeing eye, I mean, it's like almost like a pyramid-shaped structure, and it's like, boom, 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 boom. It's like a bunch of organizations all tied to this structure. So, It's real. Stay strong. Just say no to domestic terrorism. And if need be, protect our community from terrorists, both foreign and domestic, through the utilization of the courthouses. Use the court, you know. It's time consuming. Even if you use an informer bias, you're going to have to spend some money out of the pocket when you have a large case. You're going to have to have witnesses, expert testimony, all types of stuff. So there's really no free lunch in life. And it could increase your targeting if you sue. So I hope you enjoyed what little bit I shared. Stay strong and peace.